Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
I can get you the wagon. There's no problem there. The problem is it might take 6 weeks. Now, I owe it to myself to tell you, Mr. Griswold, that if you're thinking of taking the tribe cross-country, this is the automobile you should be using, the Wagon Queen family truckster. You think you hate it now, but wait till you drive it.
I don't want to drive it. I just want my old car back, okay?
What if I told you that everybody's a salesman? The question is it good for you or good for them?
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money. The WorryFree Retirement. Your host, nationally recognized retirement specialist, 5-time author, and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
Ever feel like you're Clark Griswold in this scene, Vacation, where he's ordered a station wagon that he goes to pick up? Unbeknownst to him, the salesman doesn't have the original station wagon in and convinces old Clark to buy this old thing. If you've seen the movie, of course, you know the rest of that story. Well, welcome, folks, to the WorryFree Retirement. I am that little man in the sweater vest, retirement planning specialist and fiduciary Tony Walker. And believe it or not, the topic of today's show is all about sales. You know, when we think about sales, we kind of think about old Clark. We are afraid of being sold something. And probably you've had a bad experience where somebody has either sold you something you didn't need, or worse yet, as we'll find out, maybe sold you something that wasn't bad, but they did not stand behind the product or service. You know, one of the greatest motivational speakers of our time and great sales coach, somebody that influenced me a lot over the years, was Zig Ziglar. Old Zig passed away in 2012, and man, he'll be missed. I loved old Zig Ziglar, and he had a great comment about sales. Take a look at this. Here's what old Zig says. Nothing happens till somebody sells something. And you know what? I've been in the financial trenches for over 35 years, and I absolutely agree with that. And you know what else? There's nothing wrong with sales. Sales is one of the oldest professions on earth, and everybody's been selling something, ideas, products, services, for as long as man's walked the face of the earth. The problem with sales is sometimes people buy things they don't need, or secondly, they buy things that are not serviced. So let me give you the definition of sales. Sales is simply the act of helping somebody get what they want. In return, the salesperson gets what they want. There is nothing wrong with sales, and unfortunately, we've made sales out to be a bad thing, and I'm kind of like old Zig. Let's face it, nothing happens until somebody sells something. Now, in the financial world, there's all kinds of salesmen. Basically, we like to say we sell sleep insurance. An attorney is trying to sell legal documents. An accountant is trying to sell their packages, their LLCs. A preacher, we talk about the Bible a lot on this show. A preacher behind the pulpit is trying to sell you on his or her ideas. So in and of itself, nothing wrong with sales. So Tony, why are you emphasizing sales so much? Well, let me share a little statistic with you that will reveal why understanding sales and the purposes and the intention of salesmen and salespeople is so important. This number right here, 10,000 people will turn age 65, not every week, not every month, every day. Now think about this. And you say, well, what's the big deal, Tony? It's a huge deal, and this will explain why so many of you are getting bombarded with dinner seminar ads, internet ads, phone calls, people showing up at your doorstep. Everybody and his brother now seems to know a lot about retirement planning. Well, maybe they do, maybe they don't. The problem is they know that you've got 401ks, you've got lump sum pensions. And for the majority of you, especially you savers out there who are scared to death about retirement and don't know what to do with this money, this is why so many people are after your money. They know that you're going to retire at some point and you're going to have to move that 401k over somewhere. And believe me, folks, and again, I'm a salesperson. I'm looking to handle that money as well. But what you have to understand, there is a whole lot of money to be made in the financial world off your money. So your question to advisors such as myself or any advisor who's asking to handle your money is, what am I going to get in return? What's in it for me. So today, when I return, we're going to expose the problems with the financial world. We're going to explain the difference between what a retirement planning specialist does, like Tony Walker Financial, versus people who call themselves money managers or wealth managers. When we return, I'm also going to share with you the people behind Tony Walker that make our firm so effective and why we are so good at handling people's money in retirement, not only when they retire, but through the aging process that naturally occurs as you grow older. Good stuff coming up. You stay tuned. You're watching the WorryFree Retirement. I'll be right back.
Tired of the financial world chasing after your money? Dinner seminar invitations? Annoying pop-up ads on your computer from out-of-state advisors? It all adds up to confusion. There is a better way. Meet in person with nationally recognized retirement specialist Tony Walker. Tony's personal one-on-one approach has helped thousands of savers worry less about money, and best of all, Tony's right in our own backyard. Don't leave your retirement to chance. Make the short drive to meet in person with Tony now. To get started, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a buyout? Has the company you work for recently moved or been acquired or closed its doors forever? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k to safer territory. Why continue to risk your hard-earned money when you don't have to? Let's meet in person today to discuss your retirement options. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your no-obligation appointment to meet with me in person. Do it today. Welcome back to the WorryFree Retirement, and this is really more like a seminar. I used to do a lot of seminars, don't do as many seminars now. We do a lot of webinars, we have podcasts, we have the show on YouTube. Incidentally, we've just re-upped our website, really revamped that thing. It is in great shape. You can catch past episodes, you can go to the blog page, just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. There's a place you can type in your query of what you're looking for. There's a Let's Get Started button if you'd like to talk to me in person. We can make that happen. But it does remind me when I used to do seminars all the time. I love doing seminars because we decided to create the format of today's show like that. It's just to talk, just to let you know what's going on out in the financial trenches and what is it we sell. What is it that Tony Walker Financially actually does? We're known around the country for the amount of annuity work we do, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but there's so much more we do than just annuities. So I want to clarify some things. So first of all, let me explain the services as a retirement planning specialist we offer that is absolutely free, no cost. That would be pension rollovers, 401k, IRAs, thrift savings account. If you want us to do that, the process to roll that over, there's no cost for us to do that. We also offer retirement planning. Now what that means is we will provide you, as long as you provide all the information to put one together, a free written game plan. Now we've done over 4,000 written game plans given to our clients and prospective clients, absolutely no charge. So if you become a client, your needs will change, I can assure you that, and you need your game plan updated, you call our office and we get that done absolutely no cost. The other thing we do is tax and fee analysis. We're going to talk about fees in just a second. Boy, those are whoppers. But also, what about tax analysis? When do you take your distributions from your 401k? Is this a good time to do a Roth conversion? Should you take it at 70.5 before? When do you take all this money out? What about Social Security taxes? We can help you. We have someone full-time. We'll talk about our staff in a second, that we provide tax planning services. Again, we don't do your income tax returns. We're trying to do tax planning, no cost or obligation there at all. You're thinking about retiring. You don't know when to take Social Security. We'll help you analyze that at no cost. We also provide estate planning. Now, we still have to use attorneys. We have a unique situation where we will help assist and facilitate in that planning process for our clients, and we help in that process at absolutely no cost. And then you say, well, what about this other stuff, Tony? I mean, you got to get paid, right? You're selling something. What are you selling? So we sell products, either for a commission we get paid, or we sell our investment portfolios that we manage through Charles Schwab, and we collect fees. Remember, folks, if you're just now joining us, we're exposing the fact, as Zig Ziglar once said, that everybody's selling something and nothing in this world happens until somebody sells something. The question is what they're selling you good for them or good for you? Hopefully it's good for you. So let's look at the products that we sell that the insurance companies pay us a commission on. That would be annuities. We also sell life insurance and long-term care insurance. My favorite son-in-law Trey is in charge of that department. We also sell final expense, and we do Medicaid crisis planning, again for a commission. We also offer Medicare supplements. And then finally, for a fee, we offer our investment platform through Charles Schwab. Now, as we'll see in a minute, our flat fee is a whopping 0.6%. So you say, Tony, that seems kind of high, isn't it? Not compared to the industry average. In fact, let's go over here and kind of do an analysis. And we're kind of going back to that 10,000 per day mark and why so many people are hotly contested to get your 401k and roll it over. So what we're going to do, we're going to pick a period of time between 2007 and 2013. We want to pick up that period of time where we had a down stock market, okay? Bear with me. And let's just say you are getting ready to retire and you have $500,000 in your 401k plan. It could be a lump sum pension, TSP, it's all the same. This is qualified money that hasn't been taxed. So you've been convinced to roll it over. We'll call them a money manager, okay? Reminds me back in the 90s, I had the Charles Schwab platform and I literally called it the Money Manager Program. I don't do money management anymore. What I was trying to do back then is allocate everything, kept rebalancing, trying to get the best return, and then they flew into the buildings at 9/11 and all my money management skills went right out the window. So we are not money managers. Most people are holding themselves out as money managers. All they want to do is try to manage the money and grow it. Is it going to grow? Who knows? Most of it's not guaranteed. So the question is, once you turn that money over to them, are they going to provide all these services that we provide at no cost? Well, I can't speak for them, but from what I can tell, they don't. Very seldom do I ever see a written game plan when somebody's handed over their money to people. And I'm not talking about investment statements. That has nothing to do with retirement planning. That is just an investment statement. So what we did on this example, we took the period of time between 2007 and 2013, and we imagined, which most of them do, this money manager charged 1.5% per year on your account. Now remember, let's go over to this graphic. They make money on your money whether you do or not. So let's see what happened here. 2007, you put in $500,000, the market goes up, you're up 22,000, that's great. The money manager at 1.5% gets almost $8,000. That's a lot of money for basically shuffling around money. Then we see what happened between 08 and 09. Your account dropped to $323,000, but guess what? Again, even we, through our Schwab platform, we charge fees whether you make money or not. But this is why we don't charge 1.5. Folks, you're down to $323,000. They still charge $5,000. And you got to say, for what? For watching my account go down? Come on. It starts going back up. You're still not back to break even. And this actually happened. Again, we're just using the S&P back during that period of time. They get to charge $6,000 again. So they're making money on your money, and you're not even back to break even. We see in 2011, you're finally getting up to $459. They charge $6,900. $461, they get $7,000. Finally, in the year 2013, you get to $526. So let's look at the effect of that back over here, Aaron. Aaron's following me around. What did they make on your money? About $41,000. Let me peek over my shoulder. What did you get? About $27,000. Something about this picture to me doesn't look good, folks. So you say, well, Tony, I've made a whole lot more money than that. But folks, you got to remember, this is about retirement planning. We must assume that this stock market will have another downturn. About every 8 to 10 years it has. The average stock market downturn, when it happens, you lose about 35 to 40%, assuming you're totally in the market. So you've got to understand these fees. Now, you say, well, Tony, how do your fees work? If we do a fee analysis, what do you provide us? Let's go over here and look at this chart. This was an actual example. Somebody came to me and they said, well, I think our advisor's charging like 1%. So we did a thorough analysis. We found out actually the management fees on this particular account were 1.4, but it doesn't stop there. We also analyzed all the funds within this account, and then you can see all these expense ratios. So really, by the time we averaged that out and weighted it out, the fees were 2.02%. All right, and it gets pretty high, right? Well, let's compare that to our Schwab platform. Again, don't go by any of these symbols, folks. We're constantly changing, but these are actual funds that we sometimes use. You can see the expense ratios are next to nothing. We like that. And you can see our fee of 0.6%. So basically, every year on this account, and this account was only $128,000. Imagine this was a $500,000 account. Every year in fees alone, we saved them $1,700 a year. So yeah, if you multiplied by that 4, you're talking a savings of probably $5,000 to $6,000 a year. So if you're sitting there, folks, and you're saying, gosh, Tony, I didn't realize you did all this other stuff. I knew you did a lot of annuities, and I knew that you did some money in investments and all that, but I didn't realize you offer all of these services. How can you, Tony, I know you've been doing this a long time, but how in the world can you do all this and help so many people? Well, that's the best part. When I come back, I'm going to talk a lot about the team behind Tony Walker Financial, why we are so good at helping savers worry less about money, and my philosophy and my real-world experience of working with so many savers, and why you're going to need less money in retirement as you age, not more. Good stuff, refreshing news, quite frankly. You're watching the WorryFree Retirement. I'll be right back. Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a buyout? Has a company you work for recently moved or been acquired or closed its doors forever? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k to safer territory. Why continue to risk your hard-earned money when you don't have to? Let's meet in person today to discuss your retirement options. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your no-obligation appointment to meet with me in person. Do it today.
Win or lose, games are a blast, but playing around with your retirement is serious business. So don't leave your retirement to chance. Get a retirement game plan from well-known retirement specialist Tony Walker. Learn how to be worry-free in retirement with a safe and simple game plan that includes mailbox money for life. To meet in person with Tony, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
And now, back to the WorryFree Retirement with your host, Tony Walker.
All right, welcome back to the WorryFree Retirement. Getting my little spot here. Aaron's marked here for the monitor. We've got a lot to cover. By the way, folks, I am a big believer in annuities. Have spent since 9/11 a lot of my life researching, finding out about annuities. I was sharing with somebody. They asked me, "So, well, how much annuities have you done?" I said, "Well, I don't want to brag." And the older gentleman said, "Hey, son, it ain't bragging if you can back it up." So I thought I'd share with you between this period of time, July 1st of last year through June 30th of 2019. Drum roll, please. Personally wrote, there it is. So I personally accounted, this is new premium, folks, of annuities, right at $48 million for that 12-month period of time. Now, a lot of people don't know much about annuities, but that's a lot of annuities. And again, the reason I'm able to personally write so much in annuities, we're up to about $350 million that I've written since 9/11, because I've dedicated my life to retirement planning. Everything we do has to include protection for savers, and then it also has to include not running out of money. Annuities are the only thing that can guarantee what I call mailbox money. So yes, we do that, and we also offer the Charles Schwab platform, which we'll tell you about the Split IRA later. But more importantly, I think we have to ask ourselves this right now. What is a retirement planning specialist? What is my job? My job, again, unlike a money manager, I'm not trying to grow your money at all costs. That's what a money manager does. And sometimes they're very good at it, but they don't care about the cost. We do. Savers do not like paying a lot of cost. That's part of it. What we're trying to do is protect your money at the least amount of cost, the least amount of taxes, the least amount of fees, the least amount of insurance premiums. So we start off, our philosophy is about protection. Now, why are we so big on protection? Why don't we just blindly go out here and try to grow our money? Let me show you what we're trying to do. Our philosophy is, here's what I believe, and I watched my granddad do this with his pension. We believe people work hard, and in the end, they want to use, enjoy, and protect their money. Why in the world, folks, would you work this hard and not have a game plan to spend and enjoy the money? It makes no sense to me. So my job is to figure out how to get your money back to you, not hold on to it so we can collect a bunch of fees. Now, where did this bore out of? It bore out of something I created years ago called the 3 halves of life, which I know doesn't make sense, but your life really does kind of work into 3 halves. Generally in a ball game, you have first half, halftime, and second half. So here's what I noticed years ago. I covered this in my book, The WorryFree Retirement. As you're young, right? People need to save. I get that. While you're young, you've got to save, save, save. As you get into what I call halftime, not always, but generally around 60 to 70, incidentally, my voice is a little raspy. I work really hard. Yesterday in Louisville, we had 19 appointments. I saw 19 people personally for 30 minutes on average. I was here till 8:30. So yeah, I work really hard and see a lot of people, but a lot of this stuff that I'm sharing with you folks is what I'm finding out from savers. I'm not going to financial seminars. I'm not reading books. I'm not listening to somebody else on a podcast. This is real life stuff. So let's go back here, and here's what I've noticed. As people start getting older, this is called the second half of life, they actually start spending less money. It happens time and time again. Now, granted, I'm not talking about going into a nursing home or having a health care issue. I'm just saying as far as your expenses. Now, the financial world doesn't want to talk about this. What they'd rather say is, oh no, Mr. and Miss Jones, you'll have to have more and more money, so leave it with us. We'll throw you a bone every once in a while, or I guess if the market crashes, you have to back off on some of that. We're like, no, wait a minute. Why don't we use our money now, even if it goes down? That's okay, because we've got on the back end of our planning process, mailbox money for life. See how this works? It is so simple. All right, so we segue from the three halves of life. I've written almost $48 million of annuity premiums since April 2017. We've put $70 million on our Charles Schwab platform. You say, Tony, how in the world do you do all this, man? You can only do so much. And I would say, amen to that, brother. I learned that years ago. I can only do so much. My gift and my talent is to be in front of people solving their financial problems. I've done it a long time. I'm really good at it. What I realized is I need a team of people behind me that I call service specialists. Now, in this team, first of all, I must make note, I have another fiduciary in the office, Heather Hughes. So yes, there's contingency plans. If something happens to Tony, Heather can move right in. She's licensed to handle anything that I do. Many people will say, when are you going to retire? And I would say, well, if I'm having this much fun and making this much money, probably never. Why would I do that? Now, speaking of money, by the way, what I've decided to do over the years is different than most advisors. What many advisors do is they start making a lot of money, and then they decide to either cut back on work or they hire more advisors, and then what happens at some point, the service suffers. I see it happen all the time. What I've decided to do is I've made more money, put it back into the business for what? To hire more service professionals. For instance, I have a person that specializes in 401k rollovers. She's done literally hundreds and hundreds of these rollovers as we've talked about. I've already mentioned Heather as another fiduciary. I have someone specifically assigned to the Charles Schwab accounts. Folks, when you invest money in our Charles Schwab platform, the beauty is you call our office anytime you need distributions. You call our office when you have questions about where's the best place to take money from and how we're going to deal with taxes. We handle all of that. I've got someone certified in Social Security planning. I have my favorite son-in-law, Trey, that does all of the insurance, and Gina assists him. I have someone that helps us with tax questions. I have someone that helps us with client relations. I have another young lady that helps with all the annuity. You know, we've written so many annuities. Well, those annuities, you want to change beneficiaries occasionally. You may want to change things on the policy. You have questions. We have somebody assigned just for that purpose. And then finally, we have an administrative assistant that helps set appointments, confirm appointments. Folks, we have a ratio of 5 service professionals to 1 advisor. That's way above the industry average. If you'll look at most financial planning firms or retirement firms or money managers, there's really not a lot of service professionals. They're mainly financial advisors. Again, nothing wrong with that model. The question you got to ask yourself is, okay, where's all this money going? How's it reinvested back into this company where these people are going to service my needs? Well, at Tony Walker Financial, we've proved we can do that. Now, you might say, well, Tony, Al, I'm interested in meeting with you. If we do want to roll money over, or if I've got money over here that I want to put with you all, what makes your process of, as far as managing the money, where you use annuities and your Charles Schwab platform, how do you do that? How's this going to work? Well, let's go to what I call our WorryFree Split IRA concept, something I came up with years ago. And as I've said, there's a lot of people that have used buckets to illustrate withdrawing money. That's nothing new, but what's really unique about this is how we parlay the first bucket, which is the Charles Schwab. Again, we administer all this for a whopping 0.6% a year. We're doing all of this, folks. Again, compared to most people charging 1.5%, a huge amount of fee savings just there. Plus, everything is done internally. Plus, this is what a lot of people forget, you're going to have a written game plan that the staff has access to immediately. So let's say, give an example. You've set up a plan. Out of the blue, you need an extra $20,000. Well, that's already set up, ready to go. All you do is call our offices, and then we will get on the Charles Schwab layout there of the website. We would then link that to your checking account, and in about 4 business days, you'd have the $20,000 less any tax withholdings. We do all that. You don't have to call Schwab directly for anything. We'll do it. Now, on the back end of this, we could have more than one bucket, but generally, this is where we put your future income bucket, and that's where the annuities go. Now, why do we put fixed annuities and fixed indexed annuities here? Why would we do that? Because we need the protection. Incidentally, with the Schwab bucket over here, some of you might feel a little frisky, and you say, well, Tony, if I've got a bunch of money over here in the annuities and I can't lose anything there because there's no stock market risk, could I take a little extra risk here? Absolutely. In fact, this past year, we're filming this in 2019. Again, this is not guaranteed, but the past performance of our aggressive portfolio was about 16% year to date. Not bad. Again, remember, the higher the return, the potential for more risk, and I would discuss that with you in more detail when we meet. So the purpose of the split IRA is to take your 401k, you roll it over. In fact, let's go over to the whiteboard and let me show you exactly how this is going to work. So if we have your 401k here, the difference is you transfer it to Tony Walker Financial, and then we set up, this would be the Charles Schwab bucket, this would be the annuity bucket, we may have another annuity bucket, and then the good thing is, when we spend this money, that's the purpose of it, right, to spend it and enjoy it, we can always transfer money from the annuity over to the Schwab bucket. A lot of people think these annuities are tied up. Folks, that's because they don't understand annuities and they don't understand retirement planning. That is nothing further from the truth. In fact, I wrote a great little booklet on this. You might want to go to the website at TonyWalkerFinancial.com and download the Annuity Decision Guide for Savers. Once you start with that, try to educate yourself on the truth about annuities. Then we can talk further about how an annuity might fit within your game plan. Remember, folks, you don't buy the annuity and then figure out a game plan. You create the game plan and then see how the best annuity fits within your situation. Speaking of your situation, as you can tell, there's lots of educational opportunities. We're about educating people. We want to make sure you're fully informed before you're sold anything. That's the key, folks. Make sure you understand your options. To do that, we've created a lot of educational opportunities. We got a brand new website. Let's take a look at that real quick at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. We have the podcasts available. We have the blogs. You can go to our YouTube channel, all kinds of things you can do to learn more about the services of Tony Walker Financial. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you. Obviously, we would love to have the opportunity to meet with you. And if you're a saver, worried about your money, let's talk. I look forward to talking to you soon. I'm Tony Walker with the WorryFree Retirement. You remember, between now and next week, if all else fails, you be worry-free.